Okay, well, welcome everybody. Let's see how we're doing for the folks I'm expecting. Um, and we'll let the various people who want to reach out to me about campaigns themselves be quiet for a bit so they don't interfere with what we're doing. Okay. Do let me know today if there's any background noise, if there's background noise that starts to become a problem that you're hearing, because if it is, I can try to get to a quieter place. Okay. Just heard another person come in. So we're going to go ahead and put this back in the chat, the information that you'll need for calling today. Oh, excellent. Okay. So we might have a couple other people joining us, but I see some folks I was really hoping we're going to make it. Some of our regulars who I'm so grateful to, and some newer folks. Thank you all so much. Welcome to our Elders Promote the Vote All Ages Phone Banking session. It's a joint project of Elders Climate Action, Environmental Voter Project, and Elders for Sound Democracy, which is a program of Elders Action Network. We're going to start by with our usual kind of quick introduction to the project, since we've got some new folks here, and then you're going to hear from our very special guest. At the end of their remarks, anybody who needs help with phone banking, who hasn't phone banked with Elders Climate Action before, will stay on with me, and we'll do a quick training on our phone banking tool, Hub Dialer, and then you'll get started phone banking. The rest of you at that point will be able to jump into calls. Today, we're calling into Nebraska for the Nebraska's presidential and state primary. I'm Pam Vergun, project manager for Elders Promote the Vote. Also, lots of other random things about me. I have a master's in public administration, and I happen to be the mom of two Juliana plaintiffs. Be very happy to be the mom of today's plaintiff, but not who's speaking to us, but not actually, just very lucky to be a friend. I'm from the Portland, Oregon area. Before we turn to our guest, here's a quick overview of what we're going to be doing. Okay, cool. So Elders Climate Action, or ECA for short, has reached more than 1 million voters since we began our partnership with Environmental Voter Project back in 2017, which incidentally was the year I heard about Elders Climate Action because they invited several plaintiffs, including my daughter Miko, to speak to them. And unlike her experience at that time, this was an amazing group. She came back feeling very loved and cared about and supported. We are contacting the voters, currently about 13 million of them, who think that climate is the most important issue. In the past several years, we've contacted another 9.5 million voters, getting them to turn out for federal, local, and state elections. 1.5 of that group, 1.5 million people, have now gone from people who never voted or barely ever voted to people who regularly vote in each election, whether it's for just a school board member or a judge or whatever, or presidential election. This map shows you the states that we're targeting in this election. We've worked on over 1,500 elections so far. Thank you so much for being part of this one. Legally, EVP and ECA must remain nonpartisan. We don't endorse or talk with voters about elected officials, people, parties, candidates, even policies. For making calls, the great thing is that we know that these are people who think that taking care of the earth and each other is the most important issue. And so they tend to be pretty nice to talk to for the most part. And we know from EVP's work, Environmental Voter Project's work, that through randomized controlled calls, that this nonpartisan, hey, we want to just help you get to where you need to go to vote, that messaging is the most likely messaging to turn out unlikely voters. So our goal is to make every elected official, no matter what they're running for, feel that they need to be a leader on climate to have any chance to get or stay in office. So This brings us to our very special guest today, Sahara Valentine. Sahara is one of the 21 young people suing the US federal government to get action on the climate crisis in the lawsuit known as Juliana et al. Versus US. This is work she started back in 2015. Sahara, were you 10 then? Am I doing the math right?
Yeah, I
10.
was 10.
Yeah. If only the rest of us had gotten that active at 10. It took me a bit longer. I was delighted to meet her soon after we filed the case, as I'm one of the named plaintiffs, one of the named parents for two of the plaintiffs in the case. Sahara is also a youth and adults acting for Earth leader, YAY for short. She's trained also through the United Nations program, Plant for the Planet, as a climate justice ambassador. Not only is she a YAY leader, she walked out of the training that day with us to do an interview with Channel One for that reached 6 million viewers in schools. She now lives in Bellingham, Washington, and goes to Western Washington University. She's a cool gig as the operations manager for her university's recycling center, and she's majoring in Spanish and environmental studies, which I think are like two of the coolest majors you could do. She is going very soon to Cusco, Peru, as a study abroad student. Thank you so much for joining us, Sarah. Go for it.
Thank you so much for having me. Yeah. Um, Thank you for the bio. That was lovely. It's a little jarring to see these really young photos of me. I have not seen them for a long time. But yeah, I wanted to say a little bit more about myself. I wanted to talk about my awesome job because it's like something I'm super passionate about and super lucky to have. I work at my college's recycle center. And I just got forklift certified, which was awesome. And yeah, we do incredible work that's obviously tied to the environment. It's recycling, and we go around in these big trucks and pick up students and faculties recycling their mixed paper, their glass, their aluminum, their hard plastics, and then we come back and we sort everything because at least for the students, things are pretty poorly sorted, and it can get pretty gross. And it's it's a pretty hard job. It's very physical. Um, but I now care about recycling more than I ever did. I know a lot more about it. Um, and yeah, it feels cool to be involved in such a specific way. Um, yeah, and I'm majoring in Spanish and environmental studies, and I hope to my ideal job would be working like a bilingual like elementary school and being in charge of the garden and taking care of the garden and then taking groups of kiddos out and teaching them some ways to care for the garden and grow their own food. But that is maybe not financially responsible. So we'll see what I end up doing with my majors. Um, and yeah, I wanted to thank you all so much for the work you're doing. It's really important. Um, I know that there are there's a lot going on in life always, and so that can make this kind of work like emotionally hard sometimes and tiresome. So I'm just really impressed and proud of y'all for the work you're doing. It's super awesome.
Thank you much, Sarah. Thank you so much. It we don't usually do questions, but if anybody has anything they want to ask, I think we're okay for one quick question. Just come off mute and go ahead and ask.
Hi, how are you, Sahara? I'm Wanda. I work with the, phone banking. I just wanted to ask you, would you ever be interested in going and doing an environmental study, like somewhere out, like at the rainforest or something, the Amazon?
Yeah, that would be super awesome. So I'm going not to the Amazon, but I am going to Cusco, Peru, for 5 months starting in August. And my goal with that is is to be in a different environment, um, in a different community, learning Spanish, and yeah, working with very different communities. Um, but I would love to go do environmental work everywhere, like the Amazon. That would be amazing. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh,
awesome
great.
question.
That's
Well, thank you
awesome.
oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I said that's awesome.
Yeah, I agree on that. So glad you're here today, Wanda. Yeah, thank you so much, Sahara. Have a wonderful rest of your day. I know you're heading off to work soon. And if it helps any, yeah, it's not just students. I worked for 2 summers as a program educator for a local county solid waste and recycling. And there's a lot of us, including me sometimes, who puts things in saying, oh, maybe if I put it in, that'll make them recycle it. Unfortunately, it doesn't really work that way. So have a great rest of your day. Thanks again. We're
Yeah.
going to go
Well,
ahead.
did you want to? You told me to remind you about
Oh,
taking the
yeah.
photos.
Excellent. So if we could do a fake phone banking photo, that would be great. So because apparently we're short on these. And so if you don't mind having your picture and name, if not, you can just, take those off for a second. So what we're going to do is let me get you off spotlight and then we'll go ahead and just kind of pick up your phone, like you've seen people who are staying on the call, just pick up their phone like you're starting to phone bank and we will get a group shot as soon as I get all set to do that. Okay, got everybody on one screen. Perfect. Okay. And I'll get mine too. Can I do that and do the screenshot? Maybe not. That might be overly ambitious. Okay, we'll just ignore me. That's my maybe I can't do that. Let's try this. Okay, thank you all so much. Um, if you have already been trained and worked with Elders Climate Action on phone banking, go ahead and jump in. If you want, you can come back at about 5 or 10 after, and we will just kind of share stories and things. But you don't need to, you can just keep phone banking. You also have the information. So anytime through what, as it says in the chat, 7 Eastern on Tuesday, you can keep doing this whenever you have time. Okay. Go ahead and mute yourself or go off Zoom, whatever works better for you. And then we've got a few folks, I think, who would like to do the training. Um, would you raise your hand? You could just do this if you have not phone banked with us before and want to do the training. And Sarah, have a wonderful rest of your day. Thanks so much for coming.
Thank you so much.
Bye.